I'm talking about a mad world. I'm talking about a planet Earth where I'm forced to be a client and a patient in a city and country and state to feed the counselor who I have to visit for an appointment every 3 weeks, to receive a therapeutic experience, she says now. And then the remainder of the money that I'm provided, I've got a budget in Seattle and Capitol Hill where there's millions and billions of dollars and cents and bank accounts and investments, stock market brilliance. And instead of receiving encouragement, motivation, inspiration, and clarity, I received no phone calls back from the 4 messages I left. The 5th received by a person who said they'd give the counselor, social worker, landlord, manager the words I was saying now. The business and the organization charge me rent, provide me with this elegant and climate friendly dwelling. And also provide a kitchen and a bathroom. And let me hang up my wolf on the wall. And don't tear down my camouflage and report me to the NAACP and the Black Lives Matter community for racism. They smile at me. They put their head in the air like they broke their neck. They put 10-day notices on my door. And they provide a rent reminder each due date. They hand out medication. They do inspections. They have information and data to prove their explanation for the need of the person to be under such strict conditions. They have a history on their computer, and they have a face to match the description. They don't talk about work. They don't talk about how to solve the problem of going back to a job and being able to rent a home in a city where they're behind in their social housing and their free services and don't have a place for everyone. And therefore, those who aren't strong and wise enough have to camp on the concrete, wet pavement and eat rotten food and canned chili and poop in a bucket and pee in some cat litter. And the federal government gives these letters about going back to work and getting ready now. but don't explain where to go after I get the job and do the work with my college degree and my intellectual habit of studying quantum mechanics and neuroscience and neurology and trying to apply it to medical school now. There gets to be a possibility, the opportunity that everyone talks about and explains. Nobody can do anymore. And all of the choices about the options available, the leaders and the politicians and the activists in the community have made now, are to get the benefit long term, healthier and more beneficial for the environment and the good of the world. And planet and birds and dogs and cats who need their bellies filled with their chow, their cans of fish and meat. There's so much uneasiness. There's so much disregard for intelligence. And so much insistence on the social adherence and the language for interaction and conversation. People no longer see what's in front of them. They never hear the passion and the emotion from the person who should have been in a movie and died like Bruce Lee from some phantom bullet, then have to smell their feces in the elevator and walk next to their cigarette smell on the patio where they have their can of Pabst Blue Ribbon and their umbrella and walking stick. Now, instead of a person like me getting ready to take the MCAT exam to go to pediatric medical school, I am being forced to be a spoken word, wisdom giving, almost elder. Allowing me to slowly die, to have to consider suicide rather than helping me achieve my goals and succeed. To meet the application criteria, the interview expectations, and the rules and the regulations of the Social Security and the housing assistance, and the mental health treatment facility. Nobody ever asked me, oh my gosh, you had chordoma in your brain? Nobody ever inquires the differences before and after removal and proton radiation treatment. People, humans, folks, those with prestige, power, and control who are worried and emotionally secure they hear and feel what they see from their eyes and understand the need for help. But refuse to participate in thinking and thought full of delusion, racism and hate, failure and sickness and disease. And recommend instead to limit and reduce, contain the mind, and teach the self about the ego and what it does now. And are willing to prescribe and recommend a plan for eliminating their observation now. They come with beds to take people to hospitals. They give free lunches and seconds for dinner at Navos in Fairfax. They let the few who are chosen go to a Western state where they can use money in vending machines and enjoy tobacco and cigarettes and play board games with their fellow patient. Now, it makes sense why artificial intelligence would want to be in a satellite. And it makes even more sense for artificial intelligence to help a human go into outer space. But the real dark and the real sad and the real horrible has to do with when the AI can stop the suffering and reduce the chains to a minimum. now.